Hello. So we are going to be going over the 2024 agenda with our goals. So we can get right into it. So on this channel, we're going to continue doing the fun things where we do some power scaling, we go over some lore, we go over some what if, we do the explained stuff. Like one of my more favorite ones was like explaining why the descendants of Sparta are so powerful and things like that. Also doing the versus matchups and things like that as well. That will be super fun to get into. But what everyone wants to know is what is new and what will stay. So what will stay is obviously going to be Devil May Cry. That is pretty much what kicked off this channel. I do enjoy talking about Devil May Cry. That is not a shock to anyone here. But there's also other ones that I want to do right by trying again or getting more attention to it anyway. Like Ninja Gaiden with Ryu Hayabusa and with everything inside of Ninja Gaiden. It's a great series. I want to do it right and get some videos out on that, along with the Neo series and things connected there. And then obviously the God of War series. I'm a huge God of War fan. I love me some Kratos. I love the mythologies. And I think I could do better than I have before. But what is the new stuff? What is the new stuff that Digital T is going to get into? Well, let's showcase it. So one of the first ones we got is Bayonetta. Bayonetta I like because she is a witch and she has all sorts of like actually cool abilities on top of her being physically fast and strong, which is very exciting to take part in. I'm normally a fan of, I like to go over abilities and things like that more than just they're a brute and they have some strength. Like take Kratos, for example. Kratos is obviously insanely powerful and strong, but he has a lot of good lore behind him and things like that, right? So on top of his whole verse is full of folks with crazy abilities and hacks. So it's not just, you know, brute versus brute all the time. Anyway, Bayonetta's got a bunch of cool stuff and lore. Next up is one that I'm really excited to get into, which is Elder Scrolls in general. So Elder Scrolls includes Morrowind, it includes Oblivion, it includes Skyrim, it includes the Elder Scrolls Online, Daggerfall, the Arena game, all those different things I would love to get into. And I think for this year, we'll probably start off with the Dragonborn, but we are definitely going to be going around and touching on the different games within the series because there is a whole bunch packed into this. And I definitely could see there being a lot of fun getting into the Daedric Princes, talking about Akatosh, talking about the Oblivion Gates, and then everything that happens within Morrowind as well. I definitely want to get into it. I have bought books. I own all the games. This is going to be something that we get into with deep into the lore, explaining their abilities, and then I might even play it on stream and we'll hang out and have a good time there. Another big one is Constantine. So we did hit the goal of 10,000 subs before the end of the year, which is insane. This channel started at like a couple hundred in January. And here we are at the end of 2023. And we hit over 10,000 already. It's insane. You guys are insane. So I'll definitely be reading that as well. And then lastly, Spawn. And I love me some Spawn. I think Spawn is one of the best characters to read about in general. His story is insane. His powers are insane. His vengeance is insane. Everything about it with the different, you know, the different beings, the different worlds, how everything's connected, how he adapts, how his suit adapts, everything. It's such a cool series to follow and get deep into. And that is what we are going to be touching on for the Digital T series. But wait, there's more. I have more that isn't just video games or comics. There's actually more. We also have Bleach, the anime, the manga, Ichigo, the GOAT, one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. I have been rereading Bleach for the past month and a half, and we are blitzing through it. I'm currently at the part at least of recording this, I'm at the part where Ichigo just lost his powers because he defeated Aizen with the final Getsu Intenso. Then will be the Fullbringer arc, and then the Quincy arc and things like that, right? But I also have the light novels to read, and then I have the data books to reread as well. So that will be really exciting to get into. My goal for that is to have videos out by March, and we are definitely on pace to do it. And then to add to this behemoth of backlog, behemoth of different series that I really am interested in and really want to make content on, is Jujutsu Kaisen, and That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Again, I love the characters that have all sorts of crazy abilities and hacks, and you just kind of like get into this mind melting, like how would this person win, or what could be the situation to help them, and things like that. I love that stuff. I think that stuff is so fun to brainstorm and geek out about, and who better to go over than the Gojos and the Sukunas and everything within Jujutsu Kaisen, and then everything within That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime with Rimuru and his entire cast, and the Demon Lords. Like, there's so much for each of these that I could see myself making content on for a long time. There's a lot to get into, and those are going to be after Bleach. And then this one is quite the stretch, but I thought I'd put it in here because I have been asked, when will I do it? And with everything that I have gotten into, everything that I have shared, I am either deeply involved with on the lore and things like that, right? I'm pretty comfortable talking about them. I have a good history with them already, or there's some extra things that I want to get into to polish up on some details, except like One Piece. One Piece, I have like, the furthest I got in One Piece was Luffy was fighting Crocodile. And I think that's as far as I got. And it wasn't for a lack of interest. It was just other things came up, and those took precedence for me. And I don't think it's a bad series in any way, shape, or form. It just wasn't on my radar. And I personally grew up pretty late into the anime manga world. I knew Toonami with Dragon Ball Z and Rurouni Kenshin and Yu Yu Hakusho, and then I got into Naruto, a couple years later, and then Shippuden, and then Bleach I didn't get into until, oh man, a while ago. And it was late into the game. When I first heard about Bleach, I remember asking my buddies like what they're watching, and they were getting deep into one of the filler arcs with Muramasa, and he goes and unleashes all of the Zanpakuto out there, and all the Shinigami have to go fight them all. That's what I saw, and then they were like, I don't even know how to explain this to you. The swords are living beings; they can talk to their swords, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means. I'm not gonna watch it. So when that was like the new stuff, that was when I started like trying to learn about it, and now I'm rereading it because it's been that long. And anyway, so One Piece was never on my radar. No one showed me the way of anime was actively reading One Piece that I knew of, so I just never really knew about it. I mostly got into it because my friends, and I loved it. So One Piece I put at some crazy goal of 100,000 subs because it's just so much to read, and I already have quite the behemoth of stuff that we have to do. But with all of these series that we just went over, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, and potentially One Piece, I have the goals of touching on how strong are these characters, the lore behind them, what if, explained versus matchups, just like I did with a lot of Devil May Cry. And I am, like I said before, right? Devil May Cry is a cornerstone for this channel. It is not the only series. I love me some Devil May Cry. I want to go and spread that love to other things that I enjoy as well. And I want to do it right with all these different series. So we are going to be very busy. And then, I don't know, I was just like writing out random like ideas to help me, I guess. I don't know, to help like keep, hey, I'll do this crazy thing if we hit these crazy goals, right? Because this time I didn't really do much except for the Constantine one. And this time I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something crazy for all these big milestones, right? So at 20,000 subs, I'll make a website. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what's going to be involved with it, but I'll make a website. We'll put some cool stuff on it. You know, maybe I come up with a corner for folks to submit their art, you know, so they can advertise their stuff. Or how can I submit for versus battles or things like that? I don't know. We'll come up with all sorts of fun stuff, right? It'll be super cool. And then maybe that's, you know, that's where I can throw other things, you know, like merch if we ever get to that point. But who knows, right? And at 30,000 subs, I'll get a tattoo. For those that don't know, I don't have a tattoo. I don't have any tattoos. So we'll probably do something like, I don't know, make a poll. Maybe it'll be like, you know, the Yamato versus, I don't know, Ichigo's Bankai or something like that. We'll come up with some creative stuff for the poll. I'm thinking like a weapon, like a small weapon. Since this would be my first tattoo, I don't know how much of a baby I'm going to be. And then, let's see, we just keep going down the list, just, you know, for folks that are interested of, again, this is for fun stuff. I never expect anything, right? It's like, hey, if we get it, these are the fun things that I'll do, right? And I'll put this, you know, in my Discord and pin it, and people can keep me honest, right? So I thought of something fun. You know, what if Dante Bayonetta had a baby? Essentially, like, going over how strong and ridiculous that child would be more what the story would be. Another one that I think would be crazy fun to go over, especially when I'm going to be getting into the series already with different videos, would be Ichigo versus Gojo. I know a lot of folks already have their ideas of who would win that fight and things like that, but you know in my channel, I like to go over a lot of the details and walk through exactly what I'm thinking and how I got to the decision that I made. And I think there's going to be a couple different ways to go slice that, especially as I get deep into the weeds of these different series. So that'll be very interesting. And then at 75,000, we got Dante and Kratos versus Spawn and the Dragonborn. I think this would be quite an insane matchup to go over, because at this point, I would have already gone over each of these characters, their abilities, and then we're going to pit them against each other in a 2v2. And it's just going to be bonkers, dude. These characters are so cool. They're so powerful. And I think it'd be fun to go over, you know, who would win, what are some win case scenarios, things like that. And then a little more at 80,000 to touch on the anime side. All of Bleach, Naruto, and Jujutsu Kaisen versus Rimuru, to see how that would go. Rimuru, I know in the light novels, is absolutely bonkers. So I figured it would be fun to just go and get into everything that they could do. What combinations of hacks could they come up with, and how would that go? And then at 100,000, I already noted this, right, to read One Piece. And then I'm going to document the journey on my other Digital Tea Talks YouTube channel. Feel free to go, you know, check that out. That's more off-the-cuff stuff. And then I'll also do a How Strong for a Naruto character to also start, like, touching on Naruto as well. I do love me some Naruto. And anyway, that's everything that I can think of on the YouTube side. This stuff I'll just, like, kind of breeze through. This is like to help me stream more if folks are interested in that. It's a lot of gaming stuff. I started off as I wanted to be a Gears of War pro, and then a Call of Duty pro, and then a Halo pro. Did a bunch of stuff through that. And then I got into speedrunning later and challenge runs. And so most of the stuff isn't new to me. So I think this would help with folks that are interested in gaming in general. And the gaming channel that I originally started with years ago, this would be, you know, hey, if you want to support that, great, that's awesome. I do love to play me some games. I do love some hard games. I do love some challenges. And I also love lore, right? Playing games in general is super fun to me. So anyway, yeah, here, I'll let you read that. It's all sorts of different random stuff I could come up with. It's more to incentivize me to stream more, to hang out with you guys live and play games instead of just you know, the other stuff with the lore and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. But I appreciate all the support you guys have provided, and I wanted to throw this together really quickly for the beginning of the year, so that way we have something to go look at and reflect on, and how well I did, and be able to reflect back on it. But I appreciate it. I will see you in the next one.